Hello friends, I welcome you all once again for the session 2 on the first chapter. So in the previous session we have discussed till the diffusion technique, that is the charge carriers movement whenever there is a non-uniform doping is done on a silicon or germanium bar. The charge carriers, they will try to move from a higher concentration area to lower concentration area, and the movement is continued till an uniform concentration is achieved over all the slab. That was known as the uh, diffusion technique, and that forms a that plays a very important role in p-n junction formation. So here next we shall see the p-n junction formation, or you can sometimes it is popularly known as a two-terminal device, semiconductor device, that is diode. Here a p-type and n-type materials are chemically combined with a special fabrication technique. There is a special fabrication technique is used to combine the p-type and n-type of material. So here you can see here, this is a p-type of material and this is n-type of material. Two separate slabs are taken, they are combined using these two slabs are combined with a special fabrication technique, and this technique is known as p-n junction formation. Here you can see there is a non-uniform doping is here, non-uniform doping is there. Non-uniform doping you can see here, and at the left side you can see a p type of material, and at the right you can see the n type of material. As we know, while forming a p type of material, the majority charge carriers were the holes, and similarly while forming the n type of semiconductor, you have seen that the majority charge carriers were electrons, and the holes are minority in number here, and the electrons are minor here. You can see here the concentration of holes is more in case of p type, and the concentration of electrons is more in the case of n type. At the same time, the concentration of holes is less here, the concentration of holes is more here, or in reversal you can say the concentration of electrons is more here and the concentration of electrons is less at the p type here. So here the diffusion starts its processing. Diffusion starts its processing in the sense the holes which are major in case of p type, they will try to move towards n type where they are less in number. Similarly, the electrons which are more in case of n type material, they will try to move towards p type where they are less in number. So here remember, whenever the holes they cross the junction, whenever the close holes they cross the junction, they combine with the electron here. Whenever a hole is combined with an electron, it becomes neutral in nature, neutral agata. So to this neutral atom, if one more hole is added, so what happens, it becomes a positive immobile ion, because of the additional positive charge. Similarly, whenever an electron moves from n type and cross the junction and reach at the p type, this electron combines with the hole and it becomes neutral. Whenever an additional electron is added on it, it attains negative charge. If further and further electrons are added on it, it becomes an immobile negative ion. Immobile negative ion in the sense they do not do the movement. So like this, a positive immobile ion layer is formed near at the n type of junction, and similarly a negative immobile layer is formed, ion layer is formed towards the p type of junction. These immobile ion layers, they stops the further diffusion, because you can see here these immobile positive ions are of positive charge. If the holes from the p type, if they try to cross the junction and if they try to move towards the n type, there is one repel force that is provided by the positive immobile ion. Because this is positive in nature and this is again positive in nature, there will be a rippling force. These positive immobile ions at the n type, they try to stop the further movement of the holes that are moving from the p type to n type. Similarly, whenever an electron, if it tries to move from n type to p type material, it may cross this junction, but whenever it comes near this layer, near this junction layer, these negative immobile ion layers, they try to repel these electrons, and they stop the further movement of electrons. Like this, as soon as the depletion, as soon as this immobile ion layer is formed near the junction, the diffusion stops. There is no further movement of charge carriers from p type to n type or n type to p type. And this layer is depleted of free charge carriers. Depleted of free charge carriers in the sense there won't be any free charge carriers that can make a movement. As I have already told you, these are immobile ion layers. Immobile ion layers in the sense there will be no further charge carrier movement. And this layer which is developed at the junction, this is referred as depletion layer or depletion region, or this acts like a barrier, or you can say this is simply acts like a barrier which doesn't allow any further movement of charge carriers across the junction. So till this barrier is formed, there will be a diffusion process, means the charge carriers move from p type to n type or n type to p type, but as soon as this depletion layer is formed, this stops the further diffusion. Due to immobile positive ions on n side and immobile negative ions on the p side, there exists an electric field across this junction, and this creates a potential difference across the depletion region which acts like a barrier. So you can see here, this can act like a negative potential. So if you represent this with a potential source, this can act like a negative potential of the battery, and this can act like a positive potential of the battery. So this potential which is developed exactly at the junction is known as barrier potential or cut-in potential. Barrier potential or cut-in potential, represented with the letter Vj. And this what all factors this barrier potential depends upon anta helodadra, very first factor that this Vj depends upon is the type of semiconductor. So maybe n type irbodu athwa p type irbodu, depends upon that one. This barrier potential will be different. For silicon it will be 0.7, and if it is a germanium it will be 0.3. And second point is the donor impurity that is added. So donor impurity, so andre idra artha, the concentration of doping level in the n type as well as the concentration of the doping level in the p type. So these are again two factors that will that makes a Vj value difference, means these are the factors that are going to affect the value of Vj. And the third one is temperature. This is completely temperature dependent. So with each degree Celsius in the temperature, the barrier potential decreases approximately by 2.5 millivolt per degree Celsius, means the depletion region tries to decrease whenever there is an increase in the temperature. Totally on the four factors the Vj depends upon. Very first one is the type of semiconductor, second one is the concentration of the doping level in the n type and the concentration of doping level in the p type, and the third one is the temperature, fourth one is the temperature. Next one is biasing. So as a PN junction or as a diode alone, it is of no use. You should apply certain potential across it whenever you want to make use of it. The process of applying an external voltage, to the PN junction diode is called as biasing. Not only for the PN junction diode, in general, whenever we say the definition of biasing, it is nothing but applying an external potential to the device. So here, depending upon the polarity of external DC voltage or external voltage applied to the diode, the biasing can be classified into two types. Very first one is forward biasing. So in case of forward biasing, as you can see here, as we know that the PN junction or the diode has two terminals, P type and N type. If P type material of the diode, if it is connected to the positive terminal of the source and N type is connected to the negative terminal of the battery source, then the type of biasing technique is known as forward biasing, and vice versa. Vice versa in the sense, for reverse biasing, P type should, if it is connected to negative terminal of the source, and N type if it is connected to the positive terminal of the source, then that can be referred as reverse bias. So here first we shall see the forward biasing technique. So we have biased the diode here. What exactly happens whenever the diode is operated in the forward biasing mode? ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, as you can see here, in P type the holes are majority charge carriers, and in N type electrons are majority charge carriers. So here the battery potential is also positive and the charge possessed by the holes is also positive. From the Coulomb's law, we can say that the same charges, they try to repel with each other. So means this positive potential source, it will try to push these holes towards the junction. Andra the holes will try to move towards the junction. Similarly, the electrons, so you can say here there is a negative source here. Negative source means this is a negative potential here, and the electrons which are measured in case of N region, which have the negative, which will be possessing a negative charge. Again, as per the Coulomb's law, these two negative charges should repel with each other. Means the electrons, they will try to move towards the junction. Remember, the electrons as well as the holes, they are moving towards the junction. Means this depletion layer width, now it tries to decrease. Depletion layer ಏನಾಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ, it tries to decrease. As we have seen in the previous case, there will be a junction potential that is represented by Vj. If it is silicon type, it will be 0.7, or if it is a germanium type, it will be 0.3. So as long as the applied potential, as long as this applied potential is less than these barrier potential, you won't see a significant amount of forward current here. If you connect a milliammeter here, this milliammeter won't show the maximum reading here. Whenever this applied voltage is greater than these cut-in voltage, or you can say the barrier voltage, then you can see a significant exponential increase in the millimeter here. Means I can say simply in the two, I can say as a whole, if you want to summarize the forward biasing operation, means here, as long as the applied voltage is less than the barrier potential, there will be very least amount of current will be noted in the millimeter. After a particular value, means after the applied voltage is increased beyond the barrier potential 0.7 or 0.3, you can see a significant amount of increase, or you can say exponent increase in the current, which is referred as forward current. So you can tell 2 points here. The very first one, or the 2 points that are observed here are, very first one is the PN junction, it offers very low resistance whenever it is forward bias. Means low resistance means as the voltage is increased, the current is getting increased, in the sense ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is offering very less resistance ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. And the second point is the width of the depletion layer is getting decreased with the increase in the forward bias. As the forward bias is increasing, the depletion layer is getting narrowed. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು ಡಿಪ್ಲಿಷನ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನ್ಯಾರೋ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Symbolically it is shown like this. You can represent this diagram, or you can represent this operation with this diagram. ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಬರಿಬೋದು. Next one is reverse biasing. Reverse biasing ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, exactly it is the reversal of the previous case. Here the p type is connected to the negative terminal of the battery and n type is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. I can say this the diode is operated in reverse bias fashion. So what happens whenever it is reverse bias? In case of reverse bias, as you can see, this is p type and this is n type. In p type, holes are measured in number, and n type, electrons are measured in number. Okay. In case of reverse bias operation, so you can see here the negative potential of the battery. This is the negative potential of the battery, and the holes which are measured in case of p region are of the positive type in nature. These all holes will try to attract, will try to get attracted towards the battery negative potential of the battery. Similarly, the electrons which are measured in case of n region will try to attract towards the positive terminal of the battery source. Means the electrons are also moving away from the junction and holes are also moving away from the junction. In the sense, this region, depletion region, is getting increased, or you can say there is a wide region of depletion layer is formed here. So since the majority charge carriers, the electrons in case of n region and the holes in case of p regions, they are moving away from the junction. So in the previous case they were moving towards the junction, now they are moving away from the junction. Since they are moving away from the junction, this is like a chewing gum. If you are pulling the chewing gum two ends away from each other, means it widens. In the similar sense here also, so since the charge carriers are moving away from the junction, the depletion region is getting increased. As the depletion region is getting increased, if you connect any emitter here, so since there are no charge carriers, no majority charge carrier is crossing the junction and reaching at the other place, this current will be very small. Current should be zero, but there will be a very small amount of current is noted. That is due to the minority charge carriers. I cannot neglect the minority charge carriers here, because they will be there very less in number, but their contribution is also there. The ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, so in p region electrons are there, as in the previous case electrons, and this negative potential means the electrons in the p region, they will move towards the junction. Similarly, holes which are minority in number in case of n region, again there will be repulsion force from the battery source and they will move towards the junction. So very few charge carriers, very few minority charge carriers, they will cross the junction and they form a current which is approximately of the order of microampere. Very small amount of current is noted down, and that current is known as reverse saturation current. I can say reverse saturation current. This is the operation of reverse biasing. Now in your examination, this question will be asked for 10 marks. VI characteristics of the diode. How exactly the diode behaves in forward biasing and reverse biasing. The characteristics can be studied, its nature can be studied by its characteristics. So here there will be a curve will be plotted for different values of current as well as for the applied voltage. In case of forward biasing, you may have noted down the current is also positive in nature and the voltage is also positive in nature. That's why it is drawn in the first quadrant. In the similar sense, in the reverse biasing, the voltage is also treated as negative as well as the current is also treated as negative. That's why it is drawn in the fourth quadrant of the fourth quadrant. So here you can say, in case of forward region of operation, until, so as we apply the potential, as we apply the bias potential, as long as the bias potential is less than the barrier potential, that is Vj is nothing but 0.7 or 0.3. As long as it is less than this Vj, a current will be very small and very small amount of forward current will flow. But once this applied voltage is increased beyond this Vj, so you can see a sudden rise in the current, or you can say an exponential rise in the current. Similarly, in the reverse biasing case, so whenever VR, whenever reverse voltage is increased up to certain voltage, a very small amount of current in the form of very small amount of current will flow of the order of microampere, and this is referred as reverse saturation current. This is due to minority charge carriers after certain voltage, after certain reverse voltage. So due to the increased junction voltage, the junction may get collapsed, and with an tremendous increase in the electron hole pair, causing an sudden rise in the current, as well as it is going to damage the diode permanently. So means we will never operate the diode in reverse bias. It is permissible to operate the reverse bias until the breakdown voltage, until the specified breakdown voltage. So if you increase the reverse potential beyond the specified breakdown voltage, the diode, you may lose the diode permanently. So this is the operation of diode and its VI characteristics. Next one is the VI characteristics of the characteristic equation of the diode. So this is a very important question which will be asked for 5 marks. So VI characteristic equation, so as we have seen in the previous case, is there can be any equation which governs this characteristics andaga. So the Shockley has provided an equation. So that equation is nothing but I equal to Is, or sometimes in some books Is is represented with I naught. This is nothing but reverse saturation current, Is or I naught, whatever, e to the power of V divided by eta Vt minus 1. So if you represent, or if you know the each and individual terms, means if you try to tell the individual terms, means Is will tell you the reverse saturation current, Vd is nothing but applied voltage, eta here it is an emission coefficient, it is equal to 1 for germanium and 2 for silicon. Vt is nothing but this voltage equivalent of temperature in volts, and Vt is given by kT, k is Boltzmann constant, and T is temperature in Kelvin. We consider the 3 cases to check whether it is correct or not. First case, whenever it is unbiased. Unbiased means we apply V equal to 0. We don't apply any potential here. Vd will be equal to 0. So if this Vd is equal to 0, e to the power of 0 divided by anything equal to e to the power of 0 will be 0 divided by anything will be 0. Means e to the power of 0 minus 1, e to the power of 0 in the sense 1 minus 1 will be equal to 0. 0 into anything will be equal to 0, means I also will be reduced to 0 whenever it is unbiased. In second case, whenever it is forward biased, let's say if it is forward biased ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತಾ, V will be positive in nature. Let's say if V is positive, V is applied voltage is positive, this one is positive, e to the power of any positive term, will be very much greater than 1. E to the power of any positive term is very much greater than 1 in the sense this entire term can be omitted, and simply it can be represented with an equation I equal to I naught into e to the power of Vd divided by eta Vt. And you can say, as we have seen, there is an exponent increase in the current here in the forward bias. Exponent increase in the sense here there is an e to the power of term is there, means this is an exponent in nature, and second condition is also satisfied. In third condition, that is reverse bias. So reverse bias means, so here the applied voltage is treated as negative in nature. So e to the power of any negative term, will be, okay, one minute. So here e to the power of any negative term, is very much lesser than 1. Since it is very much lesser than 1, here this term can be omitted, means equation will now it will reduce to I equal to I naught into minus 1, or you can say I equal to minus I naught. As we have seen, If V is negative, I also will be treated as negative. Here V was positive, I was also positive, and it was exponent in nature. Exponent in nature. That's why I can say this equation is going to govern the characteristics of diode. Then next one is the specifications of the diode, or you can say parameters of the diode. Specifications or parameters, these are very much important. These are very much important. So whenever we want to purchase a new diode from the market, or whenever we want to compare the diodes with another diode, these are the few parameters you should look for. Very first one is the reverse breakdown voltage, the voltage at which breakdown occurs and the current increases very sharply in the reverse bias mode of operation, or you can say this is represented by VBR. You can say VBR. Knee voltage, this is told for the forward biasing case. So a small forward voltage after which an exponential rise in the current is observed. So you can see here, this is nothing but the cut-in voltage, or you can say this is Vy, cut-in voltage, and this is VBR. Okay, knee voltage. Maximum forward current, this is so the current that the diode can withstand before it gets burned out, means after this rating, after this current, so if you allow the more current to flow through the diode, means the diode will get damaged or it may get burnt. This is the maximum permissible limit of current. Similarly, this is the maximum permissible limit of voltage in reverse direction, that is peak inverse voltage, and this is the maximum power that it can dissipate without damaging it. So these are the three terms which should be taken care, because beyond this the diode will get permanently damaged. So it should be operated within these permissible limits only, then the diode only can be operated safely. Next, the reverse saturation current, as we can see in the previous slide here, this is a small current that will flow in the diode whenever it is reverse bias due to minority charge carriers, very small current of the order of microampere. Next, this is again very important topic. What is the effect of temperature? What is the effect of temperature? Here you can note down 3 points. Very first point, so as we can see here, so this is the curve at certain temperature, forward curve at a certain temperature, and this is the curve after an increase in the temperature. The same experiment is conducted with the different temperature levels. So let's say at this temperature you can see the cut-in voltage is less, cut-in voltage is more here, cut-in voltage is more. So if you see the cut-in voltage at the different temperature, also in the red line you can say at the higher temperature level, the cut-in voltage now it is getting reduced, cut-in voltage is getting reduced. So as the current increases, as the temperature increases, the cut-in voltage decreases. Next we shall tell about the breakdown voltage. This is the breakdown voltage at certain temperature, and this is another breakdown voltage at higher temperature. At higher temperature you can see a significant increase in the breakdown voltage as the temperature is increased. Hanging a temperature increase agonta breakdown kuda increase agonta. At the same time you can tell one more about the reverse saturation current. So this is a small current here, and this is another current here. So these two currents, if you compare the reverse saturation current, this is very small current, and this is the current is increased here. Current approximately doubles for every 10 degrees Celsius in temperature, rise in temperature, the reverse saturation current approximately doubles. Current ಏನಾಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ ಡಬಲ್ ಆಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ. ಸೊ I0 ಏನಾಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ I0 ಕೂಡ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಕೊಂತ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ ಆಸ್ ದ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್. ಸೊ I0 ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, VBR ಕೂಡ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, ಬಟ್ ಕಟ್-ಇನ್ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಾ decrease agata. This is an effect of temperature. Next, as we have seen, the diode was conducted only in the forward, whenever it was forward biased, means whenever it was forward biased it was whenever it is forward biased it is going to do an conduction operation, means whenever it is forward biased it conducts current and it offers very low resistance, or you can say approximately zero resistance. means it is going to act like a close switch. And whenever it is reverse bias, I can say the junction width increases, means there will be no current, very small current will be there, but for ideal diode you can consider it as an infinite resistance is offered whenever it is reverse bias, and you can say the diode acts like a open switch. And whenever it is forward bias, it offers you very small resistance, approximately zero resistance, and it acts like a close switch. This is the operation of diode, or you can use the diode as a switch. Next one, another important category of diode is Zener diode. So Zener diode is a kind of diode or crystal diode which has very sharp breakdown voltage. Sharp breakdown voltage means sharp breakdown. This is designed for if Zener diode is designed for 6 voltage, means 6 voltage breakdown voltage, means exactly at the 6 voltage only the breakdown occurs. So there won't be any change. So that's why you can say it has a very sharp breakdown voltage. So here it is specially designed to operate in reverse bias, as we have seen in the previous case. Normal PN junction diode is never operated in the reverse bias condition, but this is specially designed to operate in reverse breakdown region, because normal diode, whenever it is operated in reverse breakdown region, the diode may get damaged permanently, but this diode won't get damaged. It can operate safely within the permissible current limits that we will see in the later session. So here breakdown mechanism, there are two types of breakdown mechanisms that can occur. So when the first one is the Zener breakdown and the second one is avalanche breakdown. So as we can see, for every Zener diode there is a Zener breakdown voltage that is specified for them. So for certain Zener diodes with Zener voltage less than 6 volt, so the type of breakdown that occurs in them is known as Zener breakdown. And for certain Zener diodes, if their Zener voltage is greater than 6 volt, means the type of breakdown mechanism that occurs is known as avalanche breakdown. What exactly this Zener and avalanche breakdown are, we will see in the very soon. We will see in the next session. So Zener breakdown, next slide. Zener breakdown is nothing but, so here this is going to do the breakdown andre ನೀವು ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಾರ್ದು, breakdown ಅಂದರೆ ಹಾಳಾಗೋದಲ್ಲ. So breakdown in the sense there will be a sudden increase in the current will be observed. Why this sudden increase in the current is observed? Because of the sudden increase in the electron hole pairs. Why there is an increase in the electron hole pairs suddenly, all of a sudden, means there can be two reasons. So based on that one, the breakdowns can be classified into two types. Very first one, so here the breakdown occurs because of the increased junction potential. So as the reverse, whenever we operate the Zener diode in reverse bias fashion, whenever the reverse bias is increased, so at the same time the junction potential also increases. So junction potential increases after certain limits. The same increased junction potential, it causes the covalent bond to break. Means, as we have already seen, the covalent bond is what was formed by two electrons. So whenever the covalent bond gets broken down, an electron is released. If an electron is released, in the sense the same opposite charge will be created in the covalent bond, means an hole will be created. Whenever an electron is liberated, an opposite charge, the same but opposite charge is created, which is nothing but hole is created. With the increase in the junction potential, suddenly a large number of electron hole pairs are created, and the current through the Zener diode is going to increase all of a sudden. And this is known as Zener breakdown. And the temperature coefficient is negative here in the sense, with increase in temperature, the Vz value decreases. And the Vi characteristics is very sharp in the sense, exactly. So whatever it is designed for, whatever the Zener voltage it is designed, breakdown voltage that is designed for, exactly at the same potential the Zener breakdown occurs. So let's say if it is designed for 6 andaga, exactly at the 6 only the breakdown occurs. Similarly, avalanche breakdown, this is due to the collision of accelerated charge carriers with adjacent atoms. So as the reverse bias voltage is increased, the electron and holes, the electrons, they gain the kinetic energy. With the more and more kinetic energy, the electrons, they try to hit the another electron which is already involved in the covalent bond. Whenever an electron, whenever the accelerated electron hits the electron that is in the covalent bond, the covalent bond again it gets broken down, and an electron hole pair is created. The liberated electron, again it gains a kinetic energy and it tries to hit one more covalent bond and it releases an electron. That released electron, it will further try to hit one more covalent bond and it releases the electron. Like this, there will be a carrier multiplication. So due to this carrier multiplication, all of a sudden maximum number of electron hole pairs will be liberated, and the current through the Zener diode, it increases all of a sudden, which is known as avalanche breakdown. And the temperature coefficient is positive here, which was negative in the case of Zener breakdown. It is positive here in the sense with increase in the temperature, the Vz values also increases, and the Vi characteristics are not as sharp as in case of Zener breakdown. Okay. Next, the Vi characteristics. Here you can see I don't discuss more about the forward bias condition for a forward bias mode here, because the forward bias mode is exactly same as that of normal diode. So specifically, whenever you want to speak about the reverse bias operation, so this Zener diode is specially designed to be operated in reverse breakdown region. You can see here there is no damage to the diode, even though if it is operated in the reverse breakdown region, that is also referred as Zener region. You can see here till the reverse voltage is less than Vz value, a very small amount of current is there. This is due to minority charge carriers, and this is known as the reverse saturation current, which was stored in the normal PN junction diode also. But the important key feature of the Zener diode will come into play whenever the reverse voltage is increased beyond Vz. So whenever the Vz value is achieved, whenever the VR value is equal to Vz, maybe the type of breakdowns we have already studied, maybe Zener breakdown happens, or maybe avalanche breakdown happens, depends upon what the Vz value it is designed for. If it is less than 6, the Zener breakdown occurs, and if the Vz value is greater than 6, then avalanche breakdown occurs. So after this Vz value, you can say the voltage is almost constant, only there is an increase in the current. Current is only getting increased, but the voltage, it remains constant. This is an important feature. With this feature only, the Zener diode finds its application in designing the voltage regulator. The Vz value, the voltage value, it remains constant, only there is an increase in the current is observed here. But you should define two more terms here, that is Iz min and Iz max. This is the minimum current through the Zener diode, and this is the maximum current through the Zener diode. These are the two permissible levels. So as long as the current through the Zener diode is not less than Iz min and is not more than Iz max, the voltage value will remain constant. Means I can use the Zener diode as an voltage regulator within these two permissible current limits. Okay. Next, the last one is Zener diode as a voltage regulator. So this is a very important question that will be asked for 10 marks in your examination. So here it is a device which maintains constant output. Output should be constant irrespective of increase or decrease in the supply voltage or the load. We shall see the first case, that with increase in the supply load, what happens. Let's say I keep the load constant and I only increase the voltage here, and this kind of regulation method is known as line regulation. We shall see here, with increase in V, you can see here there is a node here, there is a node, and I can write the KCL equation for this node as I will be equal to Iz plus IL, because the sum of incoming current is equal to the sum of outgoing current, Iz plus IL, Iz plus IL. For the line regulation, I expect I expect the IL to be constant. Let's see whether it happens or not. With increase in Vi, let's say Vi is getting increased. With increase in Vi, I also increases. I increase agata. With increase in I, obviously, if there was no Zener diode ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, IL was supposed to increase. IL ಕೂಡ increase ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. But with increase in I here, I want the IL to be constant ಅಂದಾಗ obviously ಏನಾಗಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತಾ, the Iz should also do an increase. Iz also should increase in corresponding or to the amount with which the I increases. Iz also should increase, means it should allow more current to flow through it, keeping the IL constant. Let's do the next case, that is Vi is, let's say Vi decreases. If Vi decreases means I also should decrease. As I decreases, I expect one of these two currents to decrease. I expect one of these two currents to decrease. So means but since I expect the IL to be constant, because IL into RL is nothing but V naught, so Iz will decrease. Now Iz will decrease to maintain the IL constant. Means ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ I ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆದಾಗ Iz ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತು, I ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಾಗ Iz ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತು, ಬಟ್ ILನ ಏನು ಉಳಿಸ್ತು, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟೇ ಉಳಿಸ್ತು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ V ನಾಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೈನ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದ ಲೋಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಕೆಪ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟ್, ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ದ supply voltage. We'll discuss the next case, that is load regulation. Load regulation in the sense RL should be varied keeping Vi constant. Vi ಏನಿರಬೇಕು, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. Since Vi is constant, remember here for the second case, since Vi is constant, obviously I expect I to be always constant. I ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಾ, ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತಾ. Let's see it here. Again write the KCL equation. I equal to Iz plus IL. Remember, let's say first case, if RL is increased, as the RL is increased, obviously current volt resistance ಹೆಂಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, current through it should decrease. As RL is increased, IL decreases as RL increases. As IL is decreased, since to balance this equation, either I or Iz should increase. To balance the equation. But I expect, as I already told you, since Vi is constant, I should be constant only. So that if IL is decreased, Iz should increase to have the constant I here. Means Iz, it allows more current to flow through it. To maintain I constant. Okay. Now the second case in load regulation, that is so if RL is decreased, RL is decreased ಅಂದಾಗ obviously ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಾ, IL should increase. As IL increases here, IL is increased. Again IL is increased. To balance this equation, either I should decrease or Iz should decrease. But ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಐ ಈಸ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್, I expect I to be constant, so that Iz, since there is an increase in IL here, Iz should decrease. Iz should decrease. Iz ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು, decrease ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತಾ, so that I remains constant. In both the cases, line regulation ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ load regulation ಇರ್ಬೋದು, in both cases the current through the Zener diode is adjusted between the Iz min and Iz max, so that the V0 output will remain always constant irrespective of the changes in the supply voltage or the changes in the load. That's why it is referred as voltage regulator. So thank you. If you have any doubts, means you can call me up. Thank you.